Hello my friends, today we're gonna make a frickin' hard Brazilian bass drop similar to Alec in FL Studio 20. Let's start by finding a nice catchy vocal.
Emotional roller coaster. Hands up, hands high, getting closer.
Now let's add some reverb, compression with OTT, EQ, distortion and compression with Camel Crusher, EQ, more distortion, saturation with Fruity Blood Overdrive, and a couple more EQs to really clean it up.
Emotional roller coaster.
Now guys, I'm gonna show you a trick I use to make my vocal a lot fuller and more crisp. We're gonna add a copy of the vocal but without reverb. For this second vocal we're gonna change the mode to E3 mono, which gives it this crisp kinda robotic sound.
Emotional roller coaster.
Then we're gonna add even more distortion on that second vocal, as well as a fruity stereo shaper which makes it wider.
Emotional roller coaster.
This is what it sounds like without the second vocal.
Emotional roller coaster.
And this is with.
Emotional roller coaster.
Nice. Now my lovely people, let's create a really hard and slappy bassline. But first, I would truly appreciate it if you subscribed and turned on post notifications. Let's start with this bass shot sample from my sample pack, link in the description. Now let's add some more layers to fill out the bassline. Okay guys, now we're gonna add some nice mixing effects to make the bass slap a lot harder. We'll start by mixing the mid bass. Let's start with compression using OTT, then an EQ to make the bass cleaner, distortion and compression with Camel Crusher, EQ, Soundgidizer, a couple EQs, saturation with Fruity Blood Overdrive, and a transient processor to add some more attack and punchiness. Guys, I also added a fruity stereo shaper to make the bass stereo and wide. Since the vocal is in the center of the mix, the bass is a lot clearer when it's in stereo. This my friends is what the mid bass sounds like without the mixing effects. And this is with. Now let's quickly mix the sub bass. We're gonna take it from this to this. To achieve that I added some distortion, OTT, Soundgidizer, and an EQ removing the highs and mids. In order to make the bass slap harder, I added a couple percussion sounds that hits on most of the bass notes. This is without. And this is with. They make the bass stand out a lot more when played together with the vocal. Now my friends, we'll add some tight drums and effects. Let's start by adding some basic drum elements. Now let's add some nice sound effects and ear candy to make the drop more interesting. Some atmospheres. I added this nice melodic loop for the second half of the drop that plays instead of the vocal. And lastly some drums and effects and stuff that only play in the second half of the drop. Alright guys, that was all of the elements of the drop, but before I show you the result, I would sincerely appreciate it if you went and checked out the sample pack. The link is in the description. Alright boys, here we go. Guys, I just quickly wanna say that we're hosting a sample flip contest on my Discord server where you can win exclusive samples and presets as well as in-depth feedback on your song. Link in the description. If you liked the video, please be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Love you guys.